does, right? Something that actually does make us feel better. Can you check that one for me?
Negative ions, huh?
Can you check that? Oh. Okay, so check it out. I wanted to take you this morning on a journey to the Sea of Galilee. This is actual footage, if you will, from our trip to the Holy Land. Whoops, that is not it. It's silent intentionally, so that we might feel how still the water is. You know, the Sea of Galilee is actually a lake, but it behaves a bit like a sea. The conditions there are perfect for some chaos to occur. I don't know if you realize that the Sea of Galilee is 680 feet below sea level. The mountains nearby are some 2,000 feet. And so the conditions there are perfect for storms to happen and strange things to occur. The River Jordan flows down through the Sea of Galilee and into the Dead Sea. And at least 80% of Jesus' ministry happens here in this region below sea level. Interestingly enough. And so it's true that storms would come up and the disciples would be stuck out there. And I don't know if you remember, and I didn't really remember, that the storm happened late at night and then Jesus shows up to still the storm in the wee hours of the morning. And not unlike the storms of our own lives, where it feels like Jesus takes Jesus' time sometimes to get there. I think that God lets the waters be troubled so that Jesus can still the storm. I think God lets the waters be troubled in our lives and in the world so that Jesus can still the storm. But we have to trust Him. We have to believe Him. We have to believe that it's true and it's possible for Jesus to still the storm. We heard His voice say, "Have courage. It is I. I'm coming. Keep waiting." In the midst of the storms of your own life, financial crisis, family concerns, health scares for ourselves and for our loved ones, which is sometimes harder when there's nothing we can do. I think that God allows the storms, the waters, to be troubled so that Jesus can still the storm. I don't know about you, but we talk a lot about the ocean. We talk a lot about what's happening in the waters, and sometimes we see a photo like this and remember and worry about images of the Pacific Rim, about the plastics that we use or reuse, right? States starting, cities starting to ban the use of them are reminders that we should reuse the plastic, because when images like this show up, it is a lot harder to conceive of how we could let this happen to our beloved ocean, our beloved seas, the waters of the earth. David Katz, you can see on a TED Talk, is talking about his solution to ocean plastics. Now, this is not a statistic to let us off the hook, but David Katz believes that 80% of the plastics in the water are from third world countries. Now, this is not a statistic that lets us off the hook. It is simply to remind us that maybe there are ways, and David Katz has proposed what he calls the plastic bank. So that in third world countries, small micro companies are going into those regions and creating banks where people can bring their plastics and use them as currency. So if they need something, all they have to do is bring what need not be polluting the environment. Bring those things. We know that in our own country, people are reusing plastics. I mean, cool pocketbooks and shoes and all kinds of tote bags. And this is where the creative, constructive work of God is still happening, even from our own messes around the world and in the earth. We can save ourselves. Save the gift of creation by recreating and reconstructing. And David Katz is just one of many who are coming up with great ideas. Did anybody see the new tunnel? It was on the news this week. And I want to get the young man's name right. 18-year-old Boylan Slat created a 2,000-foot tunnel where debris can flow and be channeled. A Dutch inventor he is. And so we realize that maybe, just maybe, the devastation and the destruction is not the last word, but that God allows the waters to be troubled so that Jesus, through us, can still the storm. Jesus, through us, can still the storms. It is true that God is somehow allowing the waters to be troubled. Sometimes you wonder, as we believe in people who believe in the God who created us as we are, with free choice and free will, that has taken us awry, sometimes made us somewhat destructive or somewhat wasteful, right? And so we also believe that that same God is redeeming us, allowing us, giving us another chance to do something constructive through us, because God is creating still. So I don't know about you, but I think I might be remiss to talk about the ocean and talk about the sea without reminding us of this photo. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see it. On my feed, it was everywhere. This orca, an endangered species, the name of, and somebody can help me with the name, Taliqua, by the scientists known as J35. Did you know that 75% of orca babies do not survive? And on the day when this mom lost her baby, the baby began to fall to the ocean floor, and the mom picked her up and swam around for 17 days, as if to show us what destruction can do, as if to show us her grief, as if to reveal to her friends that she was not given up or saying goodbye too soon. And too many of you know that feeling. You know, the night after the baby orca died, what the story we didn't really hear was about the group of orca that went into a cove, a group of moms, and swam around in circles as if to dance, as if in ritual. They supported each other. They supported their friend. They realized their own plight, just as we do. I think that God allows the waters to be troubled so that Jesus can still the storm. My prayer for us this day is that we would remember that we all play a part of doing something positive, something constructive, something creative for the good, rather than living in the devastation or talking about the problems, living in solutions, so that God can allow the trouble, so that God's people can be active and at work and still the storms on earth as it is in heaven. Amen. And so